going to be
It has been some time since you
some
last
quick
Let us begin again.
oh no, that sounds perfect. Alright folks, we're gonna give it just a minute and we will get started with today's stream, Hand of Fate, as we take on hopefully the next 2 or 3 courtiers, getting us to about the halfway point of the game, or the game's campaign anyway. There we go. Gonna give it about 2 minutes. Alright, we're gonna go right ahead and jump in then.
Play.
So we're back with Hand of Fate.
Now access endless mode
Oh.
if you wish to test your skills against chance itself.
So, yeah, this game does come with an endless mode we unlocked after... I don't think it was the first couple of courtiers, it was probably after we unlocked the goblet, so after the 3rd chapter, versus the Queen of Dust. But there is an endless mode that just continually generates new challenges for you, and I think, I could be wrong, because it's been so long since I played this game, but I think this is a pretty great way to earn tokens for cards that you haven't cleared yet, because they'll just come up and I'm pretty sure you can earn the tokens. Anyway, welcome back ladies and gentlemen to the Overanalyst channel. My name is Brady and I'll be your host this evening for 2 or 3 great hours of Hand of Fate, the roguelite, procedurally, I don't want to say procedurally generated because it's not, but the roguelite, card-driven, combat RPG hybrid from, I believe the studio's name is Defiant Development, very small, I want to say Australian studio.
Decisions wisely.
I think it's a really great game, and last night on our first stream we were able to get through 4 of the dealer's 12 courtiers, and tonight, I'm gonna try to get through a couple more. Now, the tricky thing about that is, as we've seen, the game not only gets harder as you go, but the chapters become longer and longer, meaning you have to put up with more and more trials as you go. So, there's gonna be more restarts, more deaths as we go, that'll take up considerably more time, but we'll cross those bridges when we get there, I suppose. We're going to go ahead and get started with our 5th courtier, already at one of the kings, the King of Dust, or the Bandit King. The King of Dust broke faith with king and country long ago, and has made himself rich and powerful through the judicious application of cruelty and terror outside of law for decades. This, despite being our first king, is going to be pretty straightforward, I want to say. As you can see, compared to that terrible food drain challenge that the rats gave us, all we've got here is a curse that's going to take our gold away for finishing combat with full or nearly full health. Not a big concern of mine, seeing as how I'm not a huge shopper unless I'm running low on food. And the only added challenges are going to be several large gangs of bandits and a few ambush cards.
Eons I have waited for an appropriate player. It Seems there are more eons ahead. Some men thrive in anarchy and chaos. The King of Dust is one such. His tools are cruelty and terror, and I suspect he will harbor a great hatred for you, my friend.
So if you remember, for getting the goblet, we were able to gain some nice perks for ourselves, but we also significantly buffed the bandits, making them a bit tougher and giving them a throwing knife attack. But despite that, the King of Dust and his men still shouldn't be too frightening. Oh yeah, and since we got the rats on our case in the last chapter, we now have 3 Ratmen encounters locked into the deck for the foreseeable future, which is great. That's, you know, I want that in my life. We don't need the Devil's Choice. I am, however, going to throw in the Desert Storm. Gonna throw in Dead Man's Gorge, which is a basic combat encounter, and the Devil's Wager can give you such good stuff if you actually clear it, but if you don't, like if you take any damage at all, it ends your run. Oh dear. Tell you what, we're gonna give it a shot. Worst case scenario, it just kills us and we have to give it another shot. No big deal. And finally, I may just throw Battle at Brooktop back in there. As I said last night, I'm really fond of just standard combat encounters that are purely determined by skill, usually, and give us the opportunity to collect some more resources. When it comes to equipment, you really just want all of the unique or named artifacts or pieces of equipment, so try to avoid getting your deck overburdened with generic items like a standard shield or sword or something, and go for these kind of special accoutrements, and you'll do fine. Really, the one you gotta work on and optimize is that encounter deck. Alright, let's go ahead and dive right on in to the Bandit King's challenge.
The King of Dust takes his tithe of all.
Notice as well in the encounter deck.
You face the first of my kings. Each has shaped the nature of their forces with the strength of their will. They will turn that power to your destruction.
Right. If you noticed, in the encounter deck, the dealer laid out just before the match started, the Jack and Queen of Dust were present as well, so we have a chance of running into them. Oh, ran into Mr. Lionel, that's great. We'll go ahead and get ourselves something in exchange for the bread. And he'll teleport us over to the maiden. Great.
The world of the cards is grim. Yet
food or blessing. I'm always a sucker for the blessings, you guys. And in this case, it's the magic cooldown blessing, probably the worst of the ones we've seen, but useful nonetheless. Ah, the Embertown Hero card.
May lead you down many paths towards jealously guarded secrets. Interesting.
You come across an injured adventurer whose battered and bloodied armor tells you he's seen combat recently. Well, of course we're gonna see what's up. I've been chasing a pack of thieves that attacked my home village of Embertown. I killed some of them in an ambush, but I fear I lack the strength to chase the rest down. If you have any honor, you will find these jackals and make them pay. So that revealed a brand new encounter card that replaced Mr. Lionel, and this map's really going to drain our food, but we're obviously going to see this quest line through to the end.
Let's find out what type of character you really are.
You've caught up with the Embertown village raiders, who call out, "Stay your hand, adventurer, and we will share the spoils with you." Obviously, we're going to attack. And it's just a 2 of dust. About as easy as the encounters can get at this point in the game. We can make short work of these guys. Great thing we start with a shield now. Nice and easy. And didn't even make contact, but I guess like the force of our swing killed him. Obviously, as you can see, we lost some gold due to the curse there, but no big deal. We gained... Ooh, a bunch of food. Perfect.
Grateful for that.
A ton of food, right on. Hell yeah, man. That was 13 food. Doubled our supply. Afterwards, we return to tell the hero of Embertown our success. He gestures for us to come closer. In silence, he hands us a jeweled ring, then dies. We put away the ring to identify later, and bury the fallen champion.
Here is your token.
So we get the token that I'm fairly certain just contains the ring card, but I'd imagine it'd be a pretty good ring. I honestly can't remember, but I'd suspect as much. The transition here is just a cave mouth.
Do you understand how this
Nice and
works?
linear, the way I like it.
Do you comprehend the stakes?
Yes, I get it. No, it's the priest again. Half our food. I'm actually not going to do this, because in terms of combat, this map isn't too bad, and, I want to keep this food. We've got a ton. So this time...
We're safe to sleep, it would seem.
If you recall, we didn't resolve this encounter properly because we're supposed to allow this guy to take some of our food and gold, which is fine because gold isn't a massive issue here. 1 coin and 1 ration, that's not too bad. Shaking your head, you turn wearily back to your bed and find yourself once again in the presence of the ghost from the forest. Its eyes, so familiar, so real compared to its shifting body, smile into yours. Something stirs in your mind. A past memory? You are still yourself. I need fear no longer. Its pale hands reach for yours and you suddenly recall a laugh to go with those smiling eyes. I have lingered too long in this place. It drains so. Do not forget me. You blink and the ghost is gone. Those eyes, gone. And we've earned another token. It's something of a tragic little quest line. Yeah, as you're gonna see, and as I mentioned last night, the very strong inference is we lived at best a morally complicated life, and at worst, kind of a reprehensible one. As a powerful adventurer, but somebody who was also fairly selfish. So we come across the first of the Bandit King's ambush.
To their king. They will not let you reach him easily.
Oh god, no. It's 4 rats. Okay. Okay, no pressure. We can do this. God, I would have preferred the 6 bandits. And it looks like we're in an arena that has some traps. Gotta be careful. They're all melee rats, though. Okay, this makes this a lot easier. Gonna let them come to me, because of the arrow slits. Just some bargain basement Skaven this time around. I can deal with this. Whoa, 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 whoa. Crap. I did not know that common melee ratmen had, an unblockable attack, but they do. As we covered last night, The rats specialize in dealing insane amounts of damage in very short periods of time. Got him, though, and we should get some quality spoils from that. Oh dear, here we go.
Choose from these options.
Hey, there we go. And now we get 3 gain cards, including a trip to the armory. Healer's Ring, Healing Cap. This one boosts the value of healing we get, and this one...
Wealth and health. A recipe for a happy...
Gain gold every time we heal. That's not going to do anything in this particular map, nor will the mercenary contract that gives us gold when we kill certain enemies. The healing cap, just double the healing we receive. That'll do. And more food.
Will suffice, however.
And half of the health we lost back, which, thanks to our new cap, restored all of our health. Right on. Effect synergy, baby. Traveling Tinker, can't do anything there because we have no gold. Not a big issue. The Winding Trail. So, 2 monsters. 5 upgraded bandits. We got this. Just gotta watch for those throwing knives, the indicator for which is a little harder to see, like the little narrow attack indicator as opposed to the big 3-pronged danger indicator for melee attacks. But other than that, we should be fine with these guys. As you can see, they make very liberal use of their new throwing knives. Even at point-blank range, which I think is a little silly. There we go. Nice. Compared to the rats, that was a grade A performance, and we get another piece of equipment. Oh, yes, the huge hammer. My favorite weapon we've used so far.
What you're going to do?
Of course it is. You crazy? Let's hitchhike our way further into the desert.
Certainly.
Guys, let me know if the audio balance is a little off. We may need to retune it tonight.
Game. Ha. I know you will not tell me. Like all the rest, you are silent.
What's this? Ah, culling the rat
Our
men.
lives are often lived thus, are they not? Pushed back and forth by the whims of nobility or power.
All of the lands in the kingdom are being overrun with rat men. Merchants in my lands are attacked on the road, as are any travelers, such as yourself. My guards are needed here, with me, but if I had just 50 gold, I would hire a mercenary army to find their nests and call their numbers. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, I remember what this one is. If we amass 50 gold, which obviously we can't do at this time, we will unlock, I think, a piece of equipment or something through that little token, but we will also remove the locks binding the 3 Ratmen ambush cards to our deck, so we'll be able to remove them, but we need to pay this guy 50 gold, which we do not have. Yet, anyway. I doubt we're going to earn it here, though, due to the nature of this map. Ah, the next chapter of the White Council questline.
If you can defeat this encounter.
One day, as you travel through a forest, you come across a band of thugs standing on the roadside. As you draw near, they move to block your path. So, 2 monster cards, 10 bandits, wow.
6 bandits to keep you on your toes.
Hand over half your gold, stranger, for passing through this forest. Phrasing's a little weird there. The White Council demands it, so we're going to have to fight 10 bandits at once, oh dear. The White Council doesn't like armed mercenaries wandering through their land, the man says as his goons close in around you. with the AoE attack that Huge Hammer gives us, this should be pretty manageable. But still gonna have to be really careful. That's a lot of troops. Time to suit up. Get that huge hammer. Oh, what? There was a trap in the trees? Nasty. There we go. With the power of Huge Hammer, we are fortunate. Ooh! Quite a few traps around here. I'm just avoiding them by pure luck. Didn't recover from that attack in time to get my guard up. Which is fine. Which is just fine. Ten bandits down, only losing 13 health. You know, that's that's not bad. Thank you, Huge Hammer. As you approach one of the fallen men, he says, with some effort, "You'll regret this. There will be consequences." He cuts off as his voice fails him. You notice a robed figure standing in the shadows of the forest. He waves his hand and a magical portal appears. Stepping through it, he is quickly gone. You look around to find no trace of the fight remains. And we get to continue this quest line. Great. Oh, the Desert Storm. This is a tough one.
Is the greatest threat, even with the Queen now dispatched. Be swift.
You're traveling through a desert when a dust storm approaches. You may be able to reach the safety of some nearby hills before the storm hits you. If I recall, this is a pretty tough game of chance. Odds are we aren't going to get this one on our first try. Okay, we got that. Oh no, we made it, actually. And got a little token. Now, if you notice, a lot of the cards tokens have this kind of, well, this five-sided shape to them. This pentagonal shape. And those typically unlock new encounters or things like that, whereas I'm going to pause it so the dealer doesn't cut me off. The smaller kind of cylindrically or ovular-shaped tokens tend to only have things like equipment or new magic spells or things like that. Artifacts, I'm sorry. So we got something for completing that. Oh, it's the peasant looking for food again. We've got enough food now to where we can give her plenty of stuff and earn the token. Let's give her 5 food. Let's be generous. I mean, share the wealth, right? The woman takes your food eagerly, passing it to some children who suddenly rush into the forest, from the forest, hands outstretched. "You have given us enough food to survive the winter, stranger." She retrieves a sack from behind a bush. "This was my husband's before he died. Please accept it as thanks." So we get the token and a piece of equipment. The fleet cuffs that'll increase our movement speed. Hell yes, we're gonna take that. Combine this with Huge Hammer Man, and we are in business. While the children eat, the woman speaks at length of what she has seen and heard recently. So just a shop in the stairs. Alright, nothing huge, but we get another, looks like an equipment token? The only reason I may pass by a shop in this chapter is to sell equipment I may not need in exchange for food, if need be.
Did you expect me to tell your fortune? No. A fortune teller is at their most base and despicable when they begin to believe their own lies. Of course, I am different. My powers are genuine.
It's the battle at Brooktop once again, so a standard combat with... Oh no. So the Jack of Skulls and his skeleton marksman, along with 6 plague rats. We could choose to fight them or not, but I got full health. Got the food. Man, I just really need the loot. Let's go for it. Oh, and since the skeletons got buffed a bit after finding or obtaining the goblet, the Jack of Skulls is going to be tougher as well, of course. I think we can handle this, though, guys, especially since even the healing we receive from food is now doubled. We can earn back anything we lose here. Oh, crap. The rats have some range support. We've got to get rid of that ASAP. Whew. Oh, and we can't forget that, of course, our good friend the Huge Hammer is a holy weapon, so will be particularly, wow, damn, particularly effective against the skeletons. As you can see, judging by the fact that it just blew the Jack of Skulls in half. Wow. Ooh, he barely got me. And as you could tell by my health draining very rapidly, that's what happens when you get poisoned by the rats. They just suck that health right on out of you. But, good news. Thanks to Huge Hammer, we were able to just devastate the entire skeleton contingent and get the Armor of Cold. Nearby enemies are immediately slowed. Nice. Oh, more synergy, y'all. We get to both increase our speed with the Fleet Cuffs and slow down enemies with the Armor of Cold. Definitely switching to that, along with some gold that isn't going to matter. The Twisted Canyon, it's okay if we fail here. We don't want to, obviously, but... Oh, man. One pain card. Just 10 health. We'll get all of that back. A fire aura. Oh, man, I don't know, y'all. I mean, it's not Huge Hammer. It's cool, but it's not Huge Hammer. It is holy, but it's not Huge Hammer. You know what, though? We used Huge Hammer before. I have a feeling that this fire aura is going to be useful against the bandits and the rats. So we're gonna give it a try, and hey, worst case scenario, we have a battle we don't like, we can always switch right back to our good old stalwart, Huge Hammer. A treasure chest. Oh dear.
I'm curious.
I'm so bad at these, y'all. Hey, okay. So the worst thing that can happen now is we just fail to open it. Right on. Right on. 4 gain cards. Some more equipment. A mace we don't need, but can sell for food. Gold we definitely don't need. None of this gold is gonna matter, but nice to have, I guess.
It seems you have made an enemy of the rat men. They do not normally attack unless provoked.
Yeah, and...
Our old friend,
oh no. It's the Plague Jack again. So he's gonna spawn, as usual, with a little bit of backup. And we've got to watch out for that 4-hit unblockable combo, but otherwise I think we should be fine. So, Flaming Mace, Freezing Armor. Oh, nope. Whew. Alright, we got this. We're just down to the jack, I think. And he exhausts... Or I thought he exhausts himself after every combo. He doesn't have that much health, though, so that's in our favor. So, bashing him with the shield helped, but it looked to me like, he kind of tires himself out once that little glowing aura around his collar dissipates. Got some more food. Good, needed it. Dead Man's Gorge, another opportunity to gain some...
No king falls without
12 bandits. Oh, geez, guys. Oh, this is gonna suck, but I'm confident we can do it. Gonna be a lot of knives flying all over the damn place, though. Wow, and we actually slow enemies within a very generous range with our armor. That's great. One moment, sorry. Phone's going off. Sorry about that, guys. Alright. Yeah, this armor and weapon, ouch, are going to make pretty quick work of these guys, I would hope. Twelve of these guys. We've come a long, long way from fighting just 2 or 3 at a time last night, haven't we? Whew, just barely got that one. Gotta remember to keep the fires burning. Oh, and it gives us a nice little AoE when we spark it up. Right. Got it. And we should get a fair amount of loot for that. Yeah, 3 gain. Maximum health upgrade.
A classical approach to dealing with crowds.
An artifact we ain't gonna use.
Artifacts give you powerful abilities to
And a very healthy supply of food. Nice, I'll take it. Okay, we may actually want to spend some of that gold here on food, if nothing else, because otherwise combat encounters are gonna sap it away. What does he have for sale? Ring of Survival? You know, it's so cheap at this point, I might as well. Anything to just keep building that healing meta we've got going on. Since we've got the mace in reserve in case something terrible happens to our good weapons, I'm gonna go ahead and sell the axe. It's worth 1 more piece of food. Mr. Fiddlescruffs in chat gets 10 food. We might need to get some more food here. No, we seriously might. You missed it last night, but the 4th chapter involved fighting an army of rat men that constantly sapped all of our food away, or sent angry, starving mobs of peasants after us that nearly beat us to death and then stole all of our food. So I'm like trauma stockpiling right now. Okay, we've got 24 food. We should be good at this point. Oh, and also the gimmick of this chapter is that after every combat we lose, I think, 1 gold for every 15 health we have, so there's not really much else we can do with it. We've amassed a healthy little dish of tokens there, though.
On this floor, the King of Dust waits for you. He is prepared. Are you?
I'm quite certain he's in the upper right, but just in case, I'm going to clear the bottom level first, then the mid, then the top. We want to get as many tokens as we can. Call for the priest. No, not now. Yes! One of my favorite cards.
And purify the flawed metal. You, in this case.
The town of Stiegel sits upon the only safe crossing of the River Ernst. However, the only adventurers allowed to cross are those who pass through the Crucible. In the Crucible, you'll fight monsters for the entertainment of the townspeople of Stiegel. What will you do? Well, to get that token, we're obviously gonna fight in the Crucible. I kind of like this idea that to entertain themselves, these medieval townspeople just force anybody passing through their little river checkpoint to engage in blood sport. I think it's a great idea. We should probably bring that back. We could get some excellent pay-per-views out of it. Gonna go ahead and enter the Crucible, and we get to pick our opponents for every one of a series of 3 rounds, I want to say. So we could fight the Jack of Dust and his backup, of course, or the just 3 bandits. I'm not insane, so I'm going to choose 3 bandits for our first opponent. I don't know if the rewards we get are scaled to the difficulty of the opponents we select, and since I don't know for certain, I'm not going to make this harder than I need to right off the bat. As you can see here, it kind of looks like we're just fighting on a giant version of the shield. And indeed we may be. I have no idea how the devs used their assets. Let's pop the Scorching Zeal. Gotta love that. And those are the new and improved bandits. Imagine what this would do to the OGs. Now, yeah, the one thing the Crucible's gonna do is just suck us bone dry on gold. This is a brilliant question, Mr. Fiddlescruss. The real question is, are those bandits also just random people passing through who are forced to fight, or are they locals? I honestly don't know, and that adds an element of moral ambiguity to what we're doing. But at the same time, I don't care, because there's a token on the other side of them. And, you missed it last night, me getting quite incensed, not because an angry mob was chasing me for my food, because they were left starving by the Ratmen, but because I couldn't just beat all their asses and carry on. Here, though, I'm fairly certain the undead ain't just passing through, so at least I would hope not, or maybe the townspeople keep, like, a giant stable of anthropomorphic rats, and the living dead locked in their cellars just for entertainment. In which case, dude. Alright, Holy Flaming Mace should make short work of these guys. Oh, well, if you look at the background, it doesn't look like this town is exactly jumping. Looks like the whole place has been abandoned. Moral ambiguity equals all murder a whole village for 1 token. You'd be surprised at what you have to do to earn tokens for some events in Hand of Fate and its sequel. Oh, it was just 2 rounds. After surviving the Crucible, we're paraded through the town and allowed to continue on the adventure. A few random peasants throw coins, saying, "You've made me rich, warrior." Yes. Yes, I have. So we get a bunch of gold that we can't really use, unless we go back to the call for the priest, and the token. Hope everybody's doing well this evening as we try to muddle through this protracted quarantine. Actually, since I've got so much gold and there's nothing else really to spend it on, I'm gonna see if I can't buy a blessing. So the Will of the Gods, which we don't need. Critical Strike. Triple damage against stun foes. I take it removing this curse would cost, yeah, way too much. So we're gonna go ahead and buy the Critical Strike, because that'll allow me to stun some of these bandits and then just immediately wipe them out. Remember, kids, blessings are your friends. The Dead King's Hall once again, meaning it's time to throw down with some...
Yet here he lies, dead and unforgiven. His time is now long past.
We're gonna try to ambush these guys. This usually does not work out for me, but it's worth a shot. I think... Oh, man. Usually when they move around like that, one of the first two cards ends up back in the first position, so I was hoping. Not a big deal, though, just gotta fight the last, maybe, of the King of Dust's hunting parties and some plague rats. The rats worry me, the bandits don't. Oh man, I love that. Oh man, one of the damn rats poisoned me. Whew. Oh, looks like we killed the rat skirmisher by blocking one of its, or deflecting one of its poison javelins. As you can see though, rat poison deals an insane amount of damage. We got all our health back though, which is great. Explorer's Helmet or Angel's Wing. Even greater movement speed.
Material gain to be made.
I'll take it, but I don't know that I'll actually wear it. Tell you what, I may replace the healing cap with this thing as we near the King of Dust.
Are you sure that's the right approach?
More food, and even more max health. Guys, this has been a very lucky run for us. Oh no.
Perhaps this will be the end of your road.
Oh, take 2 skeletons without taking a scratch? Oh man, so if you guys weren't here for the first time this card showed up and like ruined last night's run, what this is going to do is pit me in combat against 2 skeletons. Now I do have a holy weapon, armor that slows them down, and gloves that increase my movement speed. And it's just 2 skeletons, you know, nice and fragile. But the devil is also going to decrease our health to next to nothing, ensuring that we can't take a single hit in the combat. If we win, we get some pretty impressive tokens, treasure, and all of our health back. If we lose, well, that's it, game over. Just 2 skeletons, what do you guys think? Should we go for this? The King of Dust is right around the corner, but I see that token up there taunting me with another encounter. And it's just 2 standard skeletons. They're not the variants with the muskets, I don't think. Anything for the token? Alright. As soon as I'm done choking on water, I will get right to it. Okay. We should be able to do this with our mace. Pirate ghosts this time around, I guess. First things first, we're gonna light them up. Come on, come on. And hit them with those throwing knives. Yes! There we go. There we go. You know, for all that shit talking I did of artifacts, one just effectively made that a zero-effort fight for me, the little compass rows of knives. Ah, you're not dead. That is unexpected. The devil waves his hand, partially healing us. Effectively, fully healing us. And gave us not just the token, but increased max health. More stuff to draw. I'll take it. Nothing I really want, but I'll just grab this to throw in the trunk. More food that we desperately needed this time around. And most importantly, that token. Oh, I see we've got a new clip. Thank you, Mr. Fiddlescross. And an ambush,
you
so...
have to contend with every bandit in the kingdom before you reach the king.
Dealer, I honestly don't care about that, because at this point that's more of an ill omen for the bandits than it is for me. It's just more free stuff for me. Oh god, no. More plague rats. 6 of them. Close quarters, though. This is a small map, so we can do this. And they're all melee rats? Okay, we have a chance here. So first things first, light them up. Then throw some knives. And just keep an eye out for those unblockable attacks. Got poisoned by walking over a rat corpse, as you do. It's the problem with the rats, one of many problems with the rats, since they leave behind those little clouds of toxin when they die, and tend to come in large numbers, they effectively rope off certain areas of the arena as you progress through fights with them, and coupled with some of the stronger classes in the game, or classes of enemy, they can be really troublesome. Alright, let's see how we're looking here.
A choice. Select your desire.
Nice and easy. And even more loot, including another trip to the armory. Let's go ahead and take the desperate measures to just throw back on the pile. It's hard to believe we've already reached a point where desperate measures is one of the least impressive weapons we can find. And it's the rat men again.
Killing their leader is a fine way to provoke them.
I did not kill their leader, I killed the Jack of Plague, which is just some kind of roided out Hulk Hogan rat monstrosity thing, and not the Rat Man King. We'll run into him much, much later. Okay, so they have Javelineers with them this time. That's gonna be unfortunate. Always go for the ranged rats first. Pro tip for any... oh, crap. Any hopeful exterminators out there. Go after the rats with projectile weapons first. Just gonna save yourself a whole lot of heartache that way. Losing only 10 health to a band of rat men is actually a pretty good deal. No loot, that's a shame. Is this gonna be our boss? No, it's one more shop we do not need. So nothing left for us now, guys, but to fight the King of Dust, the bandit leader already.
Very few are so foolish as to deliver themselves to the king.
The king is fierce in battle, but loyal to his troops. He can choose to heal them during combat. So this actually makes him less problematic than the Queen of Dust and her crossbow turret. Because this guy, also less problematic than the Jack of Bones, because he can't revive his troops, he can only heal them. Meaning that if we use our little throwing knife ability and our flaming mace in a fairly efficient way, we can kill most of his troops before he can actually get the opportunity to heal them. And he himself is, if I recall, it's been so long, a pretty big tanky bruiser with quite a few unblockable attacks, as is kind of the norm for bosses in this game. But once it's down to just us and him, it really shouldn't be that bad.
There's a token in it for you if you win.
I am actually fairly confident here, because we've got so much good gear. It's been such a good run. Just goes to show you what you can get if you prioritize those combat encounters in your deck. Oh, he looks like a CGI dwarf from an early 2000s fantasy movie. Less than impressive. And just 4 bandits backing him up. Well, oh, that's right, and he can also call down cannonballs. You think they would have mentioned that in the intro, but... See, not bad at all. Almost. Durable, though, ain't you? There we go! So, a nearly perfect battle against the King of Bandits. Not bad at all. And that, friends, will be our 5th courtier, banished back to the dealer's cabinet.
There are many who will be pleased that you have defeated the likes of my lesser king. As for me, I think you have but proven that I must defeat you entirely. A set of new trinkets for you. You will need them, and more.
So as we can see, the dealer is already getting considerably less amicable, as we've taken nearly half of his power already. There's the ring we got from the Hero of Embertown quest. For encountering the ghost again, we get, ooh, another food gain card, always good, and an artifact I'm not entirely sure I've ever used before, Spirit Walk. Mr. Fiddlescruss asks, have I beaten this game completely before? No, I have made it to the final chapter, but as we will see hopefully in a few days' time, the final chapter is both insanely long and insanely difficult. For standing up to the White Council's thugs, we get the next part of their quest line. For surviving the Desert Storm, we get the Lost in the Desert encounter. Oh, some more great stuff for helping the Peasant Woman. The Great Helm of Reinforcement, I think, is really good. For surviving the Crucible, we get another equipment draw card, a Noble Trader, the Wife's Fury card, and the Lone card. All of which are pretty beneficial encounters, I think. For winning the Devil's Wager, we receive, well, a Devil Mask that I don't think I've ever used before. And for defeating the King of Dust, we get a new spell, the Life's Limb Sword, and I'm trying to remember. I could be confusing this with a weapon in Hand of Fate 2, but I think Life's Limb restores health for X amount of hits landed on enemies or by using a certain ability. And we're finally going to be introduced to the final main suit of antagonists in this game, the Scales, or the Lizard Men. The Hero's Remains quest, Stranger in the Shadows quest, and the Old Graveyard encounter.
Come once more to the game.
Alright, our deck is getting bigger and bigger. as are the dealer's challenges. So next we're going to be playing for his, looks like his scepter or his wand, against the Jack of Scales, the Lizard Man, general. Oh, hey, Val, haven't seen you in, well, like the ages since I've last streamed. Good to see you, man. So, Val says, we get to thrash Argonians in this game? Sign me the F up. Not exactly Argonians. These guys are a bit more kind of prehistoric looking. They have more in common with, like, those scientifically inaccurate, non-feathered depictions of dinosaurs you would see. Kind of like raptors more than anything else. Their latent magical abilities make the lizard men feared by all, even their own kind. And yeah, man, it has been way too long. I'm finally moved out in my own place, and I'm managing graduate school about as well as could be imagined, so I'm going to try streaming pretty regularly here. How have you been, man?
Take your time if you like. I've waited long enough.
So all the challenges here involve a couple more supply cards being added to the gain deck, and a couple Dead Man's Gorge combat encounters, that's it. But we also have 2 curses placed on us. Cooldown times doubled for weapon abilities and spells, unfortunate. And, oh yeah, this one. In every combat, the last enemy we leave alive can no longer be stunned or interrupted. Overall, quite well. I'm glad to hear that, man.
Scales are represented by these lizard men. Quiet, patient, lethally subtle, and coldly intelligent. Of all the creatures I have incarnated as suits, these please me the most.
So, to translate, none of that has any relevance to the game whatsoever. The lizard men are, extremely slow, but they also hit like trucks and take ages to take down. Unlike the other 3 suits, whose standard troops tend to be pretty fragile across the board. Also, I think standard lizard men, this may be a special lizard man unit, or it could be the standard one, I'm having trouble remembering, cannot be effectively damaged from the front unless they're stunned, so you have to attack them from the rear. Definitely gonna put the White Council in there. They keep wanting to give me all of the DLC quest lines at once, which is definitely something we don't want. I'll take all of these. I can tell you right now, we're not gonna have fun with this quest line at all, but we'll keep it in there. We'll throw in the old graveyard and the Crucible. Keep the priest. You know what? We actually don't need Mr. Lionel anymore, I'm sorry to say. He's been a great boon to us. Mr. Fiddlescruff says, given the old knuckle sandwich to polish him off. And not gonna have fun because it's harder, because it's not just fun, it's just not a fun quest line. So, if this is the quest line I'm recalling, there are several encounters in this series, and every single one involves this guy stealing, well, not stealing so much, but he's basically like a vampire or a lich or something, and he's going to be stealing our life force, or like our maximum life, in exchange for certain comparatively paltry bonuses until the end, I want to say. I could be confusing this with something from the sequel. The old abandoned graveyard, hit him with the old razzle-dazzle, or the old knuckle sandwich. Yeah, that's basically what we're gonna have to do if a lizard man is the last unit standing. And we'll throw in Lost in the Desert, which isn't a ton of fun, but we'll, well, no, actually, let's go ahead and go for charity instead. Wait, no, sorry, I'm just, remembering that anytime you run into the friendly old priest, he's going to ask for a donation of some kind, and I don't want to overburden my deck with encounters that are going to ask me to give away my resources in exchange for others. And it looks Cthulian at best? Yes. There are a couple of Eldritch Abominations in this game, certainly in the sequel. Gonna go ahead and throw the old desperate measures in there. The more holy weapons we can accrue, the better. Yeah. Yeah, alright. So, let's give this our best shot, guys.
I've taken one of my symbols, but now we begin to play in earnest. My scepter is at stake, and I do not intend to lose it.
This is also the part of the game, or we are now well into the part of the game, where we,
the lizard men for now, but the stakes have been raised. There is no weapon I will not use against you.
We, begin to see the former bosses reoccur as standard enemies. What the hell kind of close-up magic can he do? Where do we learn that? So, this is pretty cool. The conceit behind this game, Val, if you've not seen it played before, is we're heavily implied to be an adventurer or some kind of itinerant of ill repute nearing the end of our natural life and have come to this dealer's table to play a high-stakes game against him in exchange for basically a wish, but also a great share of magical power. And all of these encounters that we find on his board are constructed from memories of our former life or lives. So, if we make the right decisions and are able to confront and basically live our best life, we'll get closer and closer to claiming the dealer's power for our own. And obviously, he doesn't want that. So he started the game out very, very friendly, but is getting increasingly frustrated with us as we banish more of his courtiers from the game. The kind of power that blocks Odor for 16 hours, since he has an entire deck of, like, festering, diseased rat men, I'm going to say no.
And caprice, the domains of the old gods. Were they always thus, or has age corrupted their nature?
On a deserted hilltop in a faraway land, you discover an old altar. The gods of the old religion are powerful, yet unpredictable in their favors. Do we wish to pray at the altar? Oh, I'm scared. I think it was this one? Yeah. What scent do I think the candle is? Oh man, that's a good question. It might just be the fact that I've spent way too much time around, like, hipster circles, but it looks like it could be a pumpkin-scented candle, or perhaps some kind of cinnamon or other, like, pleasant aromatic spice. Flesh, since it's probably tallow. You're... Good point, Val. Coagulated blood, perhaps? Apple cinnamon. Maybe it's apple cinnamon flesh, half and half. On a bended knee, we beseech the old gods to aid in our quest, and they gave us a blessing. Any kill made using an axe, like the one we got equipped right now, gives us 3 health. Not going to be super useful if we get one of those awesome maces or hammers, but, you know, I'll take it. The Canyon, an opportunity to get just such a weapon. So we either get the weapon or take a little bit of damage and get the weapon. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Oh, hell yes, it's Huge Hammer. Probably my favorite weapon we've uncovered thus far. If we die, do we still get the tokens in the bowl, or do we have to start completely over? So, we do have to start the chapter over from the beginning. However, we not only get to keep all of the tokens we accrue throughout that run, we also unlock their contents, allowing us to modify our deck. So, if you play the game well or competently, you should constantly be getting some kind of buff or new quests that incentivize you to keep playing. Oh, Huge Hammer, you were so great. I don't care that this invalidates our blessing. It's Huge Hammer. So that's the way forward. We're not going to take it quite yet. The helpful priest. He wants half our food, in exchange for a blessing. Yeah, Val, you've got a point. He says, if you're terrible, you can still get boosts, I guess. Balances the game out if you're not very good. Well, that, and there are hundreds of different quest cards in this game, and there's no way, if you were playing straight through, you'd get to see, I'd say, even half of them. So it's intended to be replayed, both in this form of story mode and the, continually generated endless mode, which I believe allows you to get tokens as well. You know, I'm just super stingy and paranoid with my resources. I'm not gonna take it yet. If that had shown up a bit later in the game and I had the opportunity to build my stockpiles, I would have taken it. But nothing lost.
Your efforts. I worked hard on this game. It is a pleasure to see you play. A ship at dock is worth nothing until it sails.
Right on. Next encounter in the White Council series. While resting at the inn of a small town, you are suddenly accosted by a young man. You! It's all your fault. You doomed the village of Demsgate. I guess we'll listen. The White Council thinks that we paid you to attack their men. In retribution, they have plagued our town with the undead. Well, sir, it's a good thing I recently ran into my old traveling companion, Huge Hammer. I think we can take care of that for you. One day, a group of mages appeared out of nowhere and laid a curse on the town. Some men, my father included, tried to stop them. But it was hopeless. Their magical shields blocked every blow. Then they conjured a hail of enchanted arrows that pierced our men through flesh, bone, and organ. We had to abandon our village. Even now, a horde of the living dead keeps us from returning. Oh, I'm gonna help, sure. And so you should. You can start by returning to our village and clearing out the undead. Their numbers seem to be limitless. And that's going to replace one of the encounters already on the board. We will get there momentarily. The good old treasure chest gimmick. This may go well, it may not. Oh, damn it. So it's the gas trap. We're going to have to try to escape. Oh, that's really bad. So we get 3 pain cards, 5 max health, another 5 max health, 10 max health. Oh, that's fantastic. Whew. There we go. We do at least get the treasure, so I'll take it. I mean, and our reward is a ton of gold that, depending on the shops we find, such as this one, just may offset the damage that we took. Huh, while all the dragon relics are equipped, we can receive 50% plus max health and full healing after every combat. Now that's great, but it's not super useful since I don't think I've even unlocked all of the dragon relics. Val says, depending on how big the gold coins are, that could be a ton of gold. Yeah, it really could. And there's no way to, well, one ration in this game is worth 4 gold, so you'd have to imagine it's not a ton. And the plunders cap. Anytime we draw any kind of supply, we get to draw 2 and pick 1. That's... is there anything I can sell? Because that's actually really nice. Oh, by weight, you mean? Well, yeah, if it's an entire, like, chest full, that'd be pretty weighty, I'd imagine. So I guess we dragged it all the way out to the desert, and, wait? No. No, I'm not going to do this yet. because there's a special card in this deck that will allow us, if you recall from the last chapter, anybody watching this VOD at least, if we have at least 50 gold, to banish the rat men from our deck for a little while. Doesn't mean we won't run into them in combat encounters, it just means we'll be able to get rid of those 3 that have been locked in. You return to the village of Lesser Dimsgate, now cursed by the White Council. The eerie silence lies heavily upon you as you walk the deserted streets. In the town square, you discover a pair of unusual totems. They're made of bone and glow with unusual energy. The unliving bones of fallen villagers walk the earth in silent vigil around them. Is that it? 4 of them? Alright. A few weapons scattered on the ground speak of previous failed attempts to free the village from the undead invasion. Well, clearly, oh, Leshen totems! Oh, Val, you're totally right. I'm getting Witcher flashbacks now. Dude. Clearly, those who previously attempted to liberate the village did so without the holy sanction of Huge Hammer. Oh, but yeah, the bone totems are going to keep resurrecting them, or will summon additional skellies. There we go. Luckily, they're not that durable. Especially beneath the might of Huge Hammer. Well, that was just kind of sad, really. How does one join this Church of Hammer? Huge Hammer doesn't necessarily want your worship, it just wants your acknowledgement that it is, in fact, the most badass weapon in Hand of Fate. Huge Hammer. You know, the strange thing is, it's like, for a one-handed Warhammer, yeah, the head's a little large, but it's not that large. Speaking as somebody who grew up playing, like, Elder Scrolls games and the like, that's not a big hammer. But maybe it's not supposed to be big, it's supposed to be huge. You've done nothing, stranger, yells an old woman as she drags a sack of bones towards the village cemetery. Those robed devils will be back again when they hear of this. Next time they'll probably blast this entire village off the face of the earth. You've doomed us all. Don't mind her, a young girl says. She's always cranky. Thank you for laying our fallen to rest. She has a point, though. They're probably gonna come kill us all, unless you can stop them.
We don't have forever.
Oh man, all my food. But I want to conclude the quest line, so we've got to go over here.
Win this and claim my token.
You sit at the table of the mayor of Lesser Dimsgate one evening, discussing the perils of living near wizards. The Mage Guild has always gathered in the forest at that tall tower of theirs, says the mayor with a sigh. It's been that way since my grandfather's day, and longer. Well, back then they weren't so aggressive. There were rumors that unwanted visitors would be turned to stone and such like, but mostly they just kept themselves to themselves and left other people alone. They would sometimes emerge to help the villagers, using herbs and magic to cure a particularly nasty disease, for example, or anything else that might interrupt delivery of their wine and other supplies. Love the fact that this, like immortal coven of mages, seemed to prioritize wine first, and then, you know, all the magical shit a distant second. Sure, there would sometimes be a young upstart among them looking to make a name for himself and causing trouble for us, but they'd soon leave to join the court of some kingdom or other. The wizard Zagan changed all that, though. The self-appointed leader of the White Council now demands tribute, even from small kingdoms. What chance has a humble village like ours against their power? If anything threatens the council, they just pop back to their tower, and magic keeps anyone from finding its real location. No army can lay siege to, or even reach the tower. In chat, Mr. Fiddlescruffs makes a reference I thought of immediately the first time we went to Dimsgate. Doug Dimsgate, owner of the Dimsgate Dimmadome. Yeah, man, Fairly Odd Parents. That was a great show, and I don't think it's still on the air anymore, but it ran until fairly recently. Terran the merchant handles that. He once told me that he just heads into the forest and eventually one of them appears and magics the entire contents of his wagon away. I suppose you could ask him to let you hide with his stock. That might get you in, but what then? So we've gotten one step closer to confronting the White Council. Glad to see we've got a lot of Fairly Odd Parents references in the chat. Man, all those old Nick shows were great. So we're about to start starving, which is awesome. This may or may not be our run, folks, but still, we'll do our best. No, we've got gold, which means we've got food. Not much food, because we still need to reserve gold for beating the Ratmen back, but we will take it. And tell you what, I will sell you my axe for $3 gold. And in exchange, oh man, I'll take 4 food.
Now, starvation begins.
No, it doesn't, sucker. I got food at exorbitant prices, so there. Bet I'm glad I didn't give half my food to the begging priest. Oh, Val, you have no idea. See, that's also why I try to avoid loading my deck down with cards from the DLC quest lines, because they tend to do that bit where you have to travel to 2 or 3 different points on a map you've already explored kind of frequently. Oh joy. Lost in the desert. This is a tougher one. Find yourself lost and alone in a desert. I know who's in charge of the White Council. Dinkelberg. Right on, Val. We're going to pray for salvation, which probably isn't going to end well.
Choose from these options.
Damn it. I thought it was 2 monster cards, and we lose some health. That's great. Bunch of bandits and rats. So, oof. They are just not fans of our health today. But maybe if we defeat them, we get some loot, which is something I desperately need right now. Gonna prioritize going after all of the all of the rats first, since they're the ones that can just devastate my health at this point, and there's 2 with ranged abilities. Eat the rat corpses? Oh, no. They are diseased, as we learned. Stop running, you old coward. Alright, now. Oh! That's the power of huge hammer, baby. They caught me with a knife because I was just riding too high on the power of huge hammer. There we go, just barely got him before he connected with that unblockable attack. But the other option is cannibalism. The Skaven? Yeah, Val, actually, and it gets expounded upon a bit later in the game, but these guys are basically low-tech, extremely underdeveloped, and kind of lame Skaven. We got some food, though. And the alternative is cannibalism? Well, Mr. Fiddlescruffs, that's... yeah, where else did you think we were gonna get the 6 food from? Come on, now. Oh, and the next installment of the
Token if you succeed.
The Kraken quest line. One moment. You return to the landlocked lover and find it somehow even emptier than before. Carlo is entertained by the story of your time in Norwich. You explain that you were told you'll need a highbinder to find the missing ships. Carlo laughs. It's not a highbinder, it's the highbinder. He's a broker of information. And if he knows anything about the missing boats, then he'll tell us, if we can pay his price. I'll contribute what I can towards the highbinder, but as you can see, the tavern business hasn't made me a rich man. He'll accept any currency, but we have to provide enough to make it worth his while. I can't offer anything right now, because I've really got to get rid of these rats. The rats aren't a huge problem now, but once we complete this chapter and unlock the scepter, I believe they become a lot more problematic. So we want to get them out of our deck. Sorry, Carlo. We'll try again later. For example, a hunting party of 6 more rats. Pay him in foot picks. He actually seems like the kind of guy who'd be into that. And Val, actually, at the end of that quest line, we do unleash the Kraken on ourselves. And it's... if I recall, it's actually incredibly easy, but I'm not gonna complain in this game. Okay, so he hit me, but I hit him. Fair exchange. I'm going to be leaving this second level of hell, or wherever we're at, and he shall not. So, fair trade. Ooh, the problem is, they're so fast on the attack that they can often interrupt my attack animations. Unless I... ooh, I tried to stun him and it didn't work. So the one area where we have not gotten terribly lucky this time around is loot. Like, they didn't even drop anything, and normally they do. The Dead Man's Gorge, which is a combat encounter. Just bandits. Okay. Sokka, I'm exposed and vulnerable because aside from our Lord and Savior Huge Hammer, you have not given me any equipment of note this turn, or this turnaround. Threw that knife right into his friend's butt. Great aim there, dude. Not complaining, though. Not complaining. Sorry if my interior fan is a bit loud. Let me know if it is, and I'll go try to cut it off. So we got 15 food, or 10 food there, bringing us up to a total of 15. Much, much better. And it's time to fight some skellies. Hopefully we'll get something for this. They are easily the least threatening faction in the game at this point. Bandits are a little tankier, rats are hellish, lizards can take a whooping as well, and definitely dish one out. These guys, though, nah. And we're already done here. How do you like that? Spooky, scary skeletons. I've heard they send shivers down your spine. I've heard the same, Val. These guys ain't that scary, though, unfortunately. More food. Hey, this would have been great to have, like, the last set of cards.
A fortune teller is at their most base and despicable when they begin to believe their own lies. Of course, I am different. My powers are genuine.
The loan. Here we go.
For a token now.
In a busy market town, you're approached by a shopkeeper on the verge of losing his store. If you lend me the gold I need to save my store, I'll repay you one day, with interest. It's just 10 gold, and yeah, it's worth it. So we get the token, and he gratefully accepts our gold, saying, "You won't regret this." And after 10 steps, we get to draw a massive payload of gold, probably. The local peasant, again, asking for food. I'll go ahead and give her 5 food so we can get the equipment. that we desperately need. The fleet cuffs making us faster. Hell yeah. And she's going to reveal the entire map to us. Right on. So looking at this, I actually want to visit everything. The Devil's Carnival is probably the most challenging card here. In fact, the only really challenging one. If I recall, unless we horrifically botch it, it's a series of interconnected chance games, and y'all have seen how bad I am at those. If you actually get the token, you get access to some pretty good stuff, but it's very easy to fail with no or minimal costs, and there's a chance of failing with massive costs. Heroes Remains is an easy little quest line that's just going to send you somewhere else, I think, with a time limit, and the Ratmen might give you food. The Maiden will definitely give us something worthwhile. That card is sick, Mr. Fiddlescruff's referring to the loan, I presume, and yeah, it is. It's a great card to run into early on, obviously. And Val says, oh yes, please, I believe in response to the fleet cuffs, which are one of my favorite bracers in the game. Sets of bracers.
Their memory is celebrated, but they are lost.
As you pass a funeral, it's obvious from the size of the procession that the deceased was a well-loved figure. You're approached by the cleric. This great hero fell defending our beloved town of Wandamere. His sword and shield are powerful artifacts, but must be returned to his hometown for the proper burial rites to be completed. Will you do this, traveler? So this is going to give us a great and advanced sword and shield that we get to use in the short term, but have to deliver to this guy's hometown to receive both the token and avoid receiving, I think, a significant curse. So we're going to go ahead and take it. We get the Viking Blade that'll give us a rage ability. I think it just boosts.
Expected of the barbarian hordes.
It's not better than Huge Hammer, but we'll keep it in the. And the shield is just called Pain, a shield bash that now deals damage to our opponents. And as we develop our combo, as it gets higher and higher, our combo multiplier, that is, it'll deal more and more damage. Pain is a fantastic shield, and we are actually going to equip it until we make it to the hero's hometown. And hurry! It's not wise to anger the spirits of the dead by delaying their proper rites. So yeah, after 5 steps, we lose half of our max health.
Of course, you can remove your curses at shops if you can find them. Still, I'm keen to see how you handle.
And of course, it gets laid over the maiden. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we can do this. We'll go to the Devil's Carnival first.
At its heart, these traveling shows are but mockeries of the true mysteries.
Val says, all I feel is pain. Each step is a new nightmare. A reference to something... A song, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. You'll have to forgive me. I've been locked in my little, like, gray apartment / fallout shelter for the past 2 months. I'm not up on most things. One day, just as dusk gathers, we reach a large country town hosting a traveling circus. Strange sights and stranger smells confront us as we begin to wander between tents and stalls that were once brightly colored, but now are faded and stained with dust. Peasants and nobles alike wander the streets and alleys, past wonders and amazements, seeming almost dazed. There's something about the place that dulls your senses. And for a while, you forget your quest. Even the path that brought you to this place. Oh dear. Oh, what should I do, guys? Did you happen to follow any of those success cards? We just want to avoid the extreme failure. That's all. So what do we think? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Fiddlescruff says I'm as bad as you with these. Lord Almighty. Hold on, I'm actually, with my phone, I'm going to pull up a random number generator and just leave it in its hands. Because I am a coward. Val says he tried, thinks the huge success is second from the left. If we're going left to right, I think it's 2. So the one I'm on right now, yeah? Go ahead and leave your response in the chat. I'll be right back.
It has been called the game of eternity that we play. I didn't think that meant you'd take forever to make a decision, mind.
All right. So, Val says this should be the one. Well, I trust you, man. We'll see what we got. It's the regular failure, which is all right. So we just get lost and have to do it again. What are we thinking this time? I think the regular success might be in slot 4. I think the regular success might be in slot 4. 3? 3 and 2. I'm hearing 3 and 2. Hold on. Val will give you a chance to redeem yourself. 3? Yes, hey! There we go. Genuine unicorn tonic can cure any injury, whether from sword or claw, a man calls, holding up a bottle. He suddenly slashes your arm with a knife, and as you open your mouth to protest, he flicks the bottle, splashing some of the tonic on you. You start to reach for your weapon, but then stop. The crowd leans in and watches as the wound in your arm closes before your very eyes. Made from genuine unicorns and 7 secret ingredients, available here for only 1 night. And we get a health gain card. Tops off our health, but does not raise the max, unfortunately. The crowd surges forward to buy this miracle potion, and you walk on, smelling of ground-up unicorn horn, elvish blood, ratmin sweat, and several other pungent odors you can't identify. Sometime later, you find yourself standing at the edge of a forest, the sounds of the crowds behind you. Day is just dawning, but which day? Looking back, you see the ruined buildings of a country town, long ago abandoned. I love the flavor of the Devil's Carnival, you guys. Getting the token for that one's kind of hard. I think you might need to get at least one I think you need to get either a success or failure to end up in the carnival, then a huge success. Then you'll earn the token. And both of you, I think, at the same time made the secret herbs and spices reference. Gotta show some love for KFC, who would naturally be the sponsors of the Devil's Carnival. I mean, obviously. We're gonna pass that by. Let's go fight some rats. I'm so glad I have you guys on deck to help with the games of chance, because I am terrible at them. Just 4 rats, so this shouldn't be too bad. And we have the power of the fleet cuffs this time around. And, of course, pain. And they have attacked us on a moving ship at sea? Or is it their ship? It can't be their ship, right? Like... little maggots. There we go. See, Huge Hammer is so powerful, all we needed to do was deliver like a glancing blow to the back of that rat's neck with the fingers on the hand that held Huge Hammer, and it killed him. Fiddlescruff says, whatever I tell you, just assume it's wrong and probably the huge failure. See, that's actually what I had to do last night. Not with you, but that's what I had to do last night to start succeeding at Games of Chance. I started asking myself, okay, Brady, which of these 4 cards is most definitely a failure? And I would select that one. And it was right every single time. It was a success. Val says, to heck the fisticuffs, I want some fleet cuffs. So do I. So do I. And we get some food, and now the heroes return.
Look.
You reach Wandamere, location of the Dead Adventure. The town cleric meets you at the gate. He appears to have been standing vigil. Will return his sword. Thank you. This blade will once again be wielded in righteous fury. Do you also have his shield? Yeah, sure, there you go. Truly, you have done the Almighty's work in returning this shield. Thank you. Blessed are we who, protected, can fell those who trespass against us. It was one of those Japanese anime neck chop things? Yeah, I think so. Either that or like a Vulcan nerve pinch, only with Huge Hammer, so like much better. So not only do we get the token, we get 2 additional blessings. Whenever we eat food, we get double the healing. Right on. And undead that strike the player may take damage. Can add that to the fact that Huge Hammer is a holy weapon that deals like double damage against the undead, and we are in to give Skull's cards a very, very bad time. You've done blessed work this day. For your services, we will prepare for you a sacred artifact, that you may continue your good work through the dark days ahead. Right on. I'm kind of surprised we haven't run into,
I'm sure you'll leave this one in time.
Oh, stow it.
You have the temperament for friends, even in the animal kingdom.
Fine, you get that one. No, we get... I'm honestly surprised we haven't run into, any Scales cards yet.
Men are nothing if not patient. He waits for you.
The Crucible again, hell yes.
Of honor, or at least a close approximation.
Who are our choices? The Jack of Dust? Or just a couple 3 of Dust? You know what? I'm feeling wild. I'm gonna fight the Jack of Dust. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh no. Shuffle back into the deck to rise again to the top.
The very first champion we banished. 3s get degrees, says Mr. Fiddlescruffs. They do, but I'm feeling like a bit of an overachiever tonight. Oh, and the knife still hit me, but who cares? Huge Hammer will abide. I do like the slow-mo effects they apply to particularly close dodges. Jacks get smacks. They do. Now we need to fight either 3 or 2 of Dust. Let's give ourselves a nice little cooldown. Finished off with a kick that's just disrespectful? Well, of course. I mean, he didn't deserve it. He couldn't take us at the start of the game, let alone now. Alright, and right off the bat, we're going to greet them in the custom of our faith. And huge hammer to the underarm equals immediate death. Didn't even give him a finisher from the huge hammer trademark. Oh, so there's a third stage to the Crucible now. Against... oh, hell. We're gonna meet the lizards, just not in the setting I wish to. So the slowest, strongest monsters in the game against the... or with the absolute worst monsters in the game. So as you can see, the lizards are, they're pretty big fellas. And they do not play around. Then again, neither does Huge Hammer. Oh, he got me just in time, but well played, well played. Okay, so you don't need to attack these guys exclusively from the rear. Oh, I landed on a rat, damn it. So the toxins that the rats leave behind do dissipate. That's good to know. And as you can see, Val says the lizards are Reptar. Yeah, kind of. They... Do you see what I mean, though? They look less like what you'd expect lizard men to, and more like kind of primordial, like, dinosaur hybrids. Oh, Fiddlescrust with a great question. Who would win a steel cage match? One unarmed lizard man or Hulk Hogan in his prime? Well, now, you have to remember, Hulk Hogan in his prime is not Hulk Hogan in his prime and on a buttload of steroids, which is the Hulk Hogan we're most familiar with. So I'm gonna have to give it to the one unarmed lizard man, if only because I think they could take just about any kind of abuse from a non-roided Hogan. Oh, that is his prime then. Okay, then probably Hogan in a pinch. And Val says it looks like it hurt. Yes, it did, the finisher on the lizard man. As you guys saw, despite all the pomp and circumstance around them from the dealer, the lizards are kind of so slow that they're really ineffectual all on their own. Which of course means I love to fight them. And we get a paltry 15 gold for winning. Oh well. Oh, that loan's coming in. Yes. Yes. It's a shop, but we're not going to make use of it. Well, maybe we will. I mean, we've got so much money. Val says they have an even slower attack speed than Huge Hammer. Well, funny you mention that, Val. Huge Hammer actually gets stronger and stronger the more we build our combo, which also coincidentally means the faster we begin attacking, I believe. Feathered Ice and AoE Ice Blast, which would make the lizards even slower. The Ring of Justice. A full heal whenever we would use Huge Hammer's AoE attack, but only the first time. I don't need that. And all weapon attacks are enhanced with a powerful poison that taints the mind and body. Ooh. I'm actually gonna go for the Feathered Ice, though. Yeah, Val says the Feathered Ice would be good for the rats. Yes, it would. Good thinking, my man. Is there anything we need to sell? No, there's not, but... Man, check out the fleet cuffs. They look, well, I'm getting kind of Aquaman vibes from them on the one hand, and they also look kind of like Elven armor from Elder Scrolls Oblivion, I want to say. Just like in a more muted color palette. It's the Embertown hero once again. Yeah, we'll see what's... Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa. He's trying to steal our weapon? What? The hero we helped last time around is trying to steal our stuff. But we're gonna have to fight him off. Oh dear. Ice front, everyone. I'm thinking 2 or 3. Oh dear. Oh, this could be very bad. What are we thinking, guys? As long as we don't get huge failure, I'm happy. Val says 2. Yeah. Yes! Good eyes, my man. And we lose nothing. Good. And another shop. And a new card. The Wife's Fury.
You are braver than I if you're willing to get involved in a marital dispute.
While traveling through a small town, we're accosted by a furious woman who shouts at us from the door of her homestead. You there! You look like you can handle yourself. My husband was supposed to be home hours ago, but instead he's with his pals, drinking away all our coin. They left the spoils from their latest job here. If you go and teach him a lesson, you could take your pick. What do you say? Yeah, sure, I'll go square up with him. Now here's someone with some sense. I would go crack his skull myself, but our dragon cow is birthing a litter, and might burn the whole place down.
Poor Jack.
Oh, look who it is. Beat that man senseless, says Val. Looking forward to it. Poor Jack has not had a great run this go-around. He is busy playing a drinking game with his friends. I'm thinking we should threaten him. Huge success, please. It looks like 2 or 3 this time. 2, 3, 4. I'm pretty sure it's not 1 again. That one's nice and slow, so what do we got? Val says 4. Ah, that was a failure, unfortunately. But that's alright. So we're gonna have to square up with him, and I'm not sure if we'll get the token through this. I don't know. The real magic is that the dealer's candle hasn't gotten any lower this entire time, Mr. Fiddlescruss. Yeah. Yeah, no, the game, or the hall in which we play the game in does change over time. Like, it becomes clearer and clearer and more fires light around the area. But the candle is, like, just fine through the entire game. Oh well. It's just Jack again. Let's try out the old feathered ice, eh? Yeah, there we go. How on earth did that hit? Oh well. There will be nothing left to drink by the time this fight's over. Got him. For the 3rd time. Oh, we got the token. You return to the woman, bringing her battered husband with you. Just drop him in the corner and take what you want from this rubbish, she says, handing you a sack. Ooh, so we get to pick one. We don't have a helmet yet, I don't think, so I'm gonna go for the Great Helm of Reinforcement that upgrades the class of our armor from light to medium. He got Spinal Cracker, says Val. Yeah, I don't think the Jack of Dust has, like, any bones remaining in his body that have not been fractured. He is a far less impressive medieval Evel Knievel. So that'll just allow us to take less damage. All about it. And it's the rats again.
I bet you're thrilled to see Jack.
Oh no, it's the Jack of Plague. Unlike the Jack of Dust, this guy is pretty nasty. And I think he comes with some backup. Yes, he does. Val says the feathered ice. Yeah, I'm gonna give that a shot, but first things first. We have got to get rid of the Ratman Skirmisher. Oof. Yeah, gotta get away from the traps. Ooh. Well, he nearly took out his own soldier. Yeah, so he goes into a rage, and there's not much of anything, ow, we can do with him. But then he tires himself out. Oof. There we go. Well, no, Val, he's not totally immune to the ice. It looked like he and the rats were just slowed by it as opposed to completely frozen, which is fine. And nothing there for them, which is a shame. The Dead King's Hall, guarded by rats and lizards. Okay. We can try to ambush them. Alright, I want to say either 3 or 4 again. 3, maybe. Yeah? Let's see. Yay! That's it! Great. So, I'm gonna get rid of the lizards, just because they're a little bit tougher. And take out the skeletons, which should take all of like 3 seconds. One of the great things about Hand of Fate 2 is each suit has several different unit types. Like, I mean, in some cases 4 or 5 different units associated with it. And there's scores of enemies that don't align to any suit whatsoever. So that game's just much, much bigger, and I can't wait to explore that with y'all. Yeah! The hammer abides. Effortless. And we get some more food. Always good to have. It's a shame it looks like we won't run into culling the rat men this go around. Because it's boss time. This lizard man's potency. Oh, wait.
I expect greatness.
This lizard man's potency allows him to nullify the magical abilities of the player's weapons and artifacts. So that means it looks like we're not going to be able to use either of our special abilities. But we should be able to take him all the same. So it should be him and a couple lizard men as backup. Yeah. I don't know if we get to keep our special attack or not. Oh. Oh, you look kinda silly, actually. Now, if the jack ever connects with an attack, I distinctly recall it will hurt like hell. But that's a big, as you can see. But it is a big if that it'll ever hit us directly with its sword. The dealer's elites, ladies and gentlemen. The absolute best he's got to offer. Sorry about that. If you can hear a notification like beep going off, we'll take care of that right after this. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the first Scales courtier banished back to the cabinet. Nice and easy. Much easier than a standard combat against the rats.
Well played indeed. You have defeated something that I never expected to die.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be right back. Gonna try to take on one more courtier tonight, but going to go resolve that notification alarm on my phone, and hopefully take a 5-minute break to get a drink, and I'll be right back with you, okay? Don't go anywhere.
For eons I have waited for an appropriate player. It seems there are more eons ahead.
Alright, folks, we are back. I've got a drink here with me. Whew. Thanks for being patient through the break. We just earned the second of the dealer's symbols, as you can see, and since I don't think anybody in chat was present for the first one last night, going to break down what these do. Every 3 courtiers we banish to the cabinet, we receive another symbol of power, the dealer's power, which grants us certain buffs to our state that we begin each round in, so new equipment, higher stats, things like that. But they also strengthen the dealer's minions. So in this case, we get a random equipment card. I think you know which one I'm hoping for. We begin with more food and slightly better equipment. I'll check on that and see what it is in a minute. But the bandits become a little bit tankier. That's their final upgrade of 3. The lizard men become a bit stronger. No big deal, since that would require them to hit us to have any real effect. And the rat men are unfortunately a bit stronger. That's going to be the most damning in the long term. But yeah, we are halfway there.
The wand
and have earned
my will in the purest sense. It is not too late for you to give up now. Go peacefully to your fate and leave me to mine. You begin to assemble a credible deck. Let us see what happens next.
As you can see, he's not particularly thrilled at the prospect of us actually gaining a chance at taking his power for ourselves. For gaining the praise of the gods of the old religion, we receive an additional gold gain card to be added to the deck, and the Demon Trader event. Looks like the last or second to last card in the White Council quest line. For loaning gold to a merchant, we received the Marketplace card. It's worth checking out at least. For completing the Hero of Wandamir, we, a special gain card that gives us 10 gold per blessing. That'll be certainly useful on particular maps. And, the War Cry artifact or spell. For going to the tavern, we receive a tavern wager. Game of chance, that always puts me on edge. For defeating a Lizardman Jack, we receive, our next courtier, the Queen of Skulls, the Metal Ore card, the Holy Forge card, and the Dark Ritual, which will be locked into our deck. We also get Hearn's Antlers and the Undead Bane, which is not going to be as useful, of course, as Huge Hammer, so it doesn't matter. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna go for one more courtier tonight, and then we're gonna call it.
Searching for the dead and dying.
At this rate, we should be able to finish the game in about 2 or 3 more streams. The last match is so long and so difficult, it may need a stream or 2 all to itself. So the Queen of Skulls. Few necromancers possess the skill or courage to attempt the creation of such a creature. Any misstep during the ceremony could result in a hideously painful death. So she's going to add Dark Dweller cards. I don't recall exactly what they are, save that they're pains in the ass. Isn't it great that you can remember that something gave you a hell of a time, but have no idea why? And, something called Call of the Shadows? Is this Full Metal Alchemist? Val asks. Not this one. I think there's a ton of stuff quite similar to alchemy as displayed in Full Metal Alchemist in the sequel, though. So, whenever we purchase a new item, we gain a curse, and all traders have been persuaded to offer items much cheaper. We can already see the gimmick of this particular, match. But hey, so long as we don't buy anything, or are compelled to buy something, we should be in good shape.
So much death and sorrow in the world.
And you can see
Can you hear the winds?
the background has changed once again.
Can you hear the dirges as the trees and the earth cry out in sorrow? This is the Queen of Skulls, and that is all she can hear. It has driven her to madness. Her touch is the promise of death, and I say to you, You were warned. Farewell.
Alright, as usual, we're gonna get rid of the additional DLC quest lines. Throw in the old graveyard. Throw in charity this time around. Maybe throw the Devil's Carnival back in there. Release the Mr. Lionel, Mr. Fiddlescruff says. I want to? Because Mr. Lionel's great as a character, and he will return for one of the DLC quest lines, don't you worry. But, all he really does, or serves to do, is give you a shield in the first strain of the game where you do not have one. We definitely want to keep the lone, and the peasant. Yeah, all this is good. We don't want you. Not again. Let's replace that with, Guess we could try the old tavern wager. And over in the equipment deck, what all do we have? They keep wanting to give me this stupid Chains of Rage armor every single time. I've no idea why. There we go. Probably don't need the mercenary contract. We can take the desperate measures instead. Let's make sure our guy is here, and indeed it is. A weapon meant for half-trolls, ogres, and other giant inhabitants of the realm. Hell yeah. Alright. Let's prepare to take on the Queen of Skulls.
The lands of the Queen of Skulls are unhealthy for the living.
I love the presentation of this game. It's amazing. The skein of quills. So,
Few have reached
Oh.
the depths of the game that you
we start with Hearn's Antlers that
They were too weak, too inflexible, too passionate, or lacking in the necessary will.
causes lizardmen to take double damage. Useful, but probably gonna get replaced if we draw anything else. The thing about the Queen of Skulls, guys, is she's probably the weakest boss we're going to fight from this point on. Mr. Fiddlescruff says that seems pretty good, right? Yeah, no, it is, provided we're fighting a lot of lizards, and that's honestly left up to chance. Due to this chapter, there's probably going to be more skeletons than anything else, but the lizard men should still appear. Hey, right off the bat, yeah, take all my gold. There you go. I don't need it for anything right now, because that would only get me cursed. There you go. And the hero's remains, once again. I'll take him. Free blessing in exchange for a small trip?
Take your
Hell
feelings
yeah.
and turn them into power. I appreciate your ingenuity. I look forward to seeing how you approach this particular challenge.
And it's the Dark Dweller.
This thing springs from.
Your path is blocked by an evil mass of tentacles and eyes. Oh, they're all games of chance. Oh, crap. Eyes front, kids.
A choice. Select your desire.
It looks like it might be either 1 or 4 again, maybe, or... Gosh, I don't know. Thoughts? Val says 1. Hey! Great eyes, man. Thank you very much. This is much easier to see on a computer screen. I'm assuming you're watching this on a computer. I remember when I was watching somebody play this years ago, I could always track the movements of the cards on my screen, even though they seem to be having a hell of a time on their monitor. You are on PC, yeah, that'll help. So, we make it past the Dark Dweller, the first one anyway, and we're going to receive some blessings.
The end has not been thus.
2 blessings. Whenever we're struck by a ranged attack, there's a chance that our attacker will be stunned. Very useful. And this one's decent. It targets a creature, and if we happen to slay that enemy first, we'll be able to collect 5 gold in like a little baggie. So 2 of the weaker blessings in the game, but blessings are blessings.
Along a muddy road, certainly. I did not create this game, you know. I have merely perfected it. You have begun to understand my innovations.
It's our first shop.
Of course.
Nothing doing
So
here.
few trade in the land of death that deals are easy to strike.
I love that they give us reasons in lore for like all of the little peculiarities of each round. Okay, here we go. Game of chance. 4, maybe? Maybe? I want to say like 3 or 4. Maybe. Is this a terrible mistake on my part? Yes it is. 3 would have been a better choice. So we're gonna have to avoid a gas trap. Yay. It looks like 3 to me, this time 3. Val says look like 1, okay. And you've got it right, very good. Thank you, thank you. And we have one more, but this is the easiest one. We've got a 75% chance of success just from the jump. Looks like it could be basically anything, but either 1 or 2 could be the failure, I'm thinking. Val says 2. Alright, we'll give this a go. Yep. Yep. And we get 4 gain cards, so something from the armory. The Armor of Cold. Ring of Survival. Every 3rd combat we get health, but this is an aura that projects an aura that slows enemies down.
The effect does not extend inside the armor, but you do have to get it on somehow.
And, it's worth taking a hit to our defense if it slows everything down within a very generous range. A ton of gold.
To give you a taste for it.
I will take it because it will allow us to call the Ratmen. Oh, the Dark Ritual is up there. So I'm going to go back to disrupt the Dark Ritual, since that card is locked in my deck for now. 10 gold per blessing. I will take it.
A permanent
That was the loan coming through.
willing to endure the local color. The more powerful the sight.
While searching the sacred tombs of Wandamir, you come across a group of skeletons conducting a dark ritual. So 3 monster cards, all skulls, I'm assuming. Including the Jack of Skulls. So the Jack of Skulls is going to be kind of tricky, but once he and his musketeers are down, this should be a cakewalk. Now, we don't have huge hammer, so this is going to take a little longer than I'd care for it to. We still got the Armor of Cold, though, so that should slow them down. Hearn's Antlers isn't going to be directly useful, but it looks badass, which is a power in and of itself. Oof. The sarcophagus is lined with spike traps. Need to remember that. Now, this Jack will revive his soldiers. So what we want to do is wait for him to do so, and then disrupt him. Like so. Without a holy weapon, the Jack of Skulls takes a little while to whittle down, but is otherwise a straightforward fight. Okay, the Jack of Skulls is finally down, meaning this is going to be just cleanup at this point. Not the most elegant victory in the world, but doesn't matter. A victory nonetheless. Nice and neat. So as we can see, even upgraded and in huge numbers, the undead ain't a massive threat. The last broken bone clatters to the stone floor. We realize that our intervention has come too late. The sarcophagus is slowly cracking open. We quickly grab what we can from the area and flee the chamber, taking a bunch of equipment, including the Fool's Gold, on every weapon ability usage. All bandits are stunned. Huh. And we get gold from bandits we kill. No, it's not worth it.
Is that what you're going to do?
Oh, and the, throwing knife ability. Standing outside a moment later, you hear an unholy shriek that will haunt your dreams forever.
You can take it.
I don't care, I got Chinese.
And then proceeds relentlessly. With each step, you will discover a new car and a deeper mystery. I am not surprised they have difficulty selling their wares here.
Gonna carry on?
What brings you to play the game? I know you will not tell me, like all the rest.
The Dead King's Hall once again. An opportunity to fight some more monsters. All lizard men, meaning our helmet's going to be pretty useful. Okay, here we go. I'm thinking... 2? 2, this looks like a 2 to me. No, regular failure, which is no big deal, because all that means is we have to fight the 4 of them. Since they're lizards, and we're emitting that cold aura that's going to slow them down, they're going to be moving at a glacial pace. And we're going to be dealing double damage. Now, I would appreciate getting a better weapon than this default axe. Oh, we meet the ranged lizard men for the first time. They spit fireballs, I believe. They're faster, but also quite a bit more fragile. Oof. Actually hit me with that. Oof. I forgot that they have unblockable attacks. Even the regular ones. Okay, that got rid of the ranged soldier. Now they are durable, because remember, we're dealing double damage and they're able to take this much pain. Still yet to take even one of them down. Oof. Got him, though. We did get him. And, of course, a good amount of treasure. More health. Max health. And some food. Some much-needed food. The peasant, again. Well, I can't give her 5 food, but I can give her 2. So she's going to reveal the map to us. And we can pay to call the rat men. Hell yeah.
He's not your feud, remember. He can only ask.
We're going to go ahead and pay the toll this time. A wise decision. I shall begin a campaign against the filthy rats immediately. Also, you may take this blade. With my mercenary army, I won't need to rely on it to protect me. The Rat Cleaver. Double damage against the rats.
Yet the two have lived in close proximity throughout the ages, and are more similar than either would care to admit.
And an AoE that will stun any nearby enemies. This is a great weapon, guys. It's no huge hammer, but it's close. Now, as you can see, we're running a bit low on food, and I don't want to buy any since that would curse me. So we're going to skip the Noble Trader for now, and move on to the next leg of the journey.
Woods and see what lies beyond. I hear nothing but the sounds of morning. She is close.
Right. The Devil's Carnival once again, so get ready, kids. It is, game of chance time. Same as before. Alright, so where's that huge success gonna be? Is it 2? It looked like it might be 2. No. No, it looked like it might be 1. Yeah? Yeah, I'm thinking 1 as well, Val. Yes, there we go. Cheers and gasps draw you to a large tent. Inside, you discover a number of spectacles being performed by a costumed artist. Mr. Fiddlescruff said, I think 4, but ignore me, please. I think 4 might have been the other success. Get ready, though, kids. There's going to be 1 more. We want the best result, so I never have to go through this cards event again. Okay, huge success.
Choose from
Oh gosh. One of the first 2, maybe? Or 3? 2 or 3? 4 was success, that's right. Val says 1 again. Okay. Oops, that's not what we want at all. So we catch fire and lose 20 health.
And I will make you suffer. Keep yourself
No problem, Val.
curses, and you'll have nothing to worry about.
We'll have the opportunity to try again. Already? Wow.
Face death and learn your fate.
Okay, gonna be kind of a short chapter. But, a powerful skeleton warrior with the ability to summon a demonic pile of skulls that can create a legion of skeletons. So, the Queen of Skulls is actually even easier than the Jack, because she can't block our attacks. She's a standard musketeer with more health, and her gimmick is that she summons one of those totems that we saw back at Dimsgate. You know, the really fragile Tower of Bones? That's it, she starts with one of those. So, we take care of the totem, and she and her entourage are basically powerless.
The secrets of your memories, you'll gain new cards. Some you'll wish you'd left untouched.
It's a shame that we didn't get to explore this floor in greater depth, but I'm not gonna complain. With a 4 of skulls as backup and probably... Oh no, she doesn't have any direct... Oh, wait, yeah, she does. Because it's already summoning. Oh, she's throwing grenades. There we go, we'll stun him and smash the totem. Whew! Whoops, she got us with the... Got us with the, musket, but we're still alive. Knives? Okay, so the Damocles is actually much better than I gave it credit for. It actually hits pretty damn hard. And there we go. The Queen of Skulls. Down already. In what? Maybe like a fourth of the time it took me to down the Jack and his backup?
Then it is done. When even a creature as haunting as the Queen of Skulls perishes,
ta-da!
the game is almost done. The kings are gathering now. Do you see now what I have built? How elegantly all the pieces fit.
Well, actually, dealer, I'm pretty sure we just handed your ass to you by complete accident this time around, so... No? Let's see what we got. For interrupting the Dark Ritual, we uncover the Lich, which is a special mini-boss fight, I want to say. We can now remove the Rat Manhunting cards, and we get the Rat Cleaver. And for defeating the Queen of Skulls, we get... Oh, shit. Well, tomorrow night's stream is gonna be a fun one, kids. And we also get the Lizard Dome. As well as a new spell, and the Mortal Whimsy sword, it looks like. Looks kinda interesting.
One more round. You have earned it.
Certainly, just, not tonight. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and bring tonight's stream to a close. It's been a good 2.5 hours, and I want to thank you guys so much for coming out personally and joining us in chat tonight. It's been so great having such wonderful and engaging folks in chat, sort of keeping me company as I work my way through this. I'm going to try to come back tomorrow night at 6 p.m. once again to take on the next 3 courtiers. Don't miss that. We're going to start off by facing... I think the boss I recall having the most trouble with in the entire game, the Queen of Plague. Until then, thank you all so much for joining us. You will be able to catch this VOD over on the YouTube channel in a couple of days' time, and until then, thank you all one more time. Have a wonderful night, and take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Bye-bye, folks.